So here's a story, and I would like us to really discuss the story and to see how we resonate with it. The story is told of a distant civilization which wanted to make an interview on planet Earth, or rather, they wanted to spy on planet Earth. So this distant civilization from a completely different world altogether sent down their spies, whom we will call, for the sake of this example, aliens. Okay? They had their boss. Their boss sat down and they said, I want you to investigate on planet Earth. And their main objective was one. The investigation was to find out who the people of Earth worship. The civilization had in mind that if we can find out who these individuals worship, we can, capture whoever these individuals worship. And if we can capture whoever these individuals worship, we can use this individual to really change or do whatever that we want to do with we can push our own narrative. We can direct these individuals to do whatever that we want them to do. So that was the objective. The first plan was to find out who they worship. That was the main task. Go, figure out what these individuals worship, and then bring back report. So the two individuals came, in this example, aliens came to this planet Earth, and they started to roam around. Now, they could obviously walk through walls, they had whatever they could do, just that their goal was that. Find out who they worship. They came to Earth, spent time, walked around, and they were given, I think, about 30 days to observe whatever that we worship here on Earth. And they spent countless times, walked around, took notes, went to different homes, spent night at homes. Obviously, people couldn't see. They were spies. They were very good at their jobs. They could be invisible. They could be roam around undetected, and that's what they did. They walked everywhere, to each and every part of, or each and every single corner of the world. They did all of that. Looked at how people sleep, looked at what the people did, looked at what the people ate, everything. They did everything. Each and every single day, they were taking notes. Each and every single second, minute, hour, they were taking notes. And the 30 days came to an end, and they had to go back home to their planet to give report about whatever they've observed here on Earth. And then they went back after 30 days. The inhabitants of that planet were excited to receive them. Hey, guys, you're back. Yes, we're back. Now, do you have a report for us? They said, oh, you can't believe your eyes. We know we have a good report. So they sat down, the people, and everybody gathered together. The leadership called them into a special room, and they said, give us a report. What have you noticed? What did you see? And the people started, you can't believe what we've noticed when we were there. First of all, they started by saying, the people of planet Earth are extremely religious. Okay, I could see the people sitting next to, close to the edge of their seat. Tell us more. Wow, what do you mean they're extremely religious? And they started to explain. So those people are extremely religious. They take religion very seriously. They're very obedient people. They explained that the people have rituals that they observe without fail all the time. Okay, that's how they explained to us, the people of this world. And say, okay, tell us, what do they observe? What do they do? They started to explain. They wrote down a few rituals that we go through. They had a ritual which they explained where the citizens of planet Earth worship the mighty box of light. This is in their own words explained as follows. They said the individuals of planet Earth have a nightly ritual where all the family members come and they worship the mighty box of light. They refer to this mighty box of light as this box that is set, and then the people will sit in a way, almost as if in a semicircle around this mighty box of light, or whichever way, but the people will sit and face this mighty box of light. And they refer that this mighty box of light will instruct the civilians of planet Earth into how to dress, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. This mighty box of light will even give them manners of all kinds. They will tell, this mighty box of light will instruct the people of Earth what's acceptable, what music to listen to, when to listen to that music, what kind of fashion is acceptable, and when to dress in a certain way and what not to dress. This mighty box of light will tell the inhabitants of planet Earth everything. It'll even give them scenarios, like basic scenarios of how to respond to certain things. It was said that this mighty box of light will sometimes give the civilians of planet Earth like a simple scenario, and this scenario will last about 30 minutes at most. Sometimes, or at least sometimes, the scenarios will last for hours on end, maybe 1 hour 30 minutes, constantly educating the civilians of planet Earth about how to live. Okay, and they said that the civilians of the Earthlings did that. They always worship this mighty box of light without fail, every day, every morning. They were there. They would always be worshiping this mighty box of light. Another thing that they've also picked up, which they reported when they went back home, was that the mighty box of light also comes up in smaller devices. That's why they call them. They say this mighty box of light comes in smaller devices, and which means that whenever the civilians of planet Earth are not in this holy setting, they can also extend, or they can also receive extended direction from this mighty box of light while they're in bed, while they're in school, while they're driving, while they're shopping, while they're eating, while they're in any other setting except for the holy setting which is designated at home. The aliens further added that on Sundays, typically, that's what I've noticed about the seventh day of the week, they typically noted that the civilians of planet Earth go to comedy sessions where they typically sit and they pay to get into this comedy session. Sometimes they talked about how the civilians of planet Earth go to music concerts where they sit down and they watch this music concert, and that's their form of entertainment. That's how they get entertained, and they do this typically on Sundays or on days like that, on the seventh day of the week rather, which is Sunday according to our calendar. So that's what they will do on Sundays. They will have those sessions where they go comedy sessions, sometimes comedy sessions, but typically they noted that it's typically a music session where they just go there and listen to this music session. So sometimes they say they will go to motivation sessions. They also noted that that's also some of the things that the Earthlings do. They typically noted about these two things, but other than that, typically they've noticed that it's not a compulsory thing to do, to go to these comedy sessions or music sessions or motivation sessions. But they noted that in this planet it's compulsory to worship the mighty box of light. Furthermore, they added that there's a group of outcasts. These are rebellious people who do not worship the mighty box of light. These individuals are outcasts in the community. They are not accepted. They dress a little bit funny. They do things a little bit different from the rest of the people. That's pretty much what they've noticed about this. And then that's how the aliens were able to give a report when they got back home. So what can we learn from the story? What can we learn from the story as we think about this? What can we draw out of it? I think there's quite a few things to learn. So first of all, when we decipher the story and we peel it a little bit more, what we're learning is that the aliens observed us watching TV or being on our phones. And their definition of religion is that anything that you give your time to, anything that you worship, anything that tells you what to eat, anything that really gives you all the instructions, to them, they take it as anything that we worship. But little did they know that to us, that's actually not what we worship. But on another note, if we really think about it and we liken this to us worshiping TV, it sounds like it is the case. The TV gives us all the instructions that we need. Social media gives us all the instructions that we need. It tells us what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. It tells us what to eat, what not to eat. Social media literally drives everything that we need to know, so that our whole lives are woven around the social media. That's one interesting thing about it. Our whole lives are woven around the social media. And the aliens furthermore got it wrong by saying, because that our primary attention is on social media or this mighty box of light, everything else is a good thing that we do. They interpreted church as a concert, as a Sunday concert where people typically go without fail to these concerts. But now they noted it as entertainment because of the little portion of time that we give to worship. Now think about this. As if an angel were to take notes about your life and to go back to report to God, who would these angels say is your God? Would they say you worship God? Or would they say you worship social media? Would they say God is just a concert to you, or a motivational session that you go to on a Sunday basis, where you just go there, find this deep motivation, and then come back home and then continue to worship your normal God? That's the one thing that we can think about. I think the story is quite poignant. It's quite interesting. It shares a little bit of interesting light. So think about it and really think about what it means to you as a person as well.